Sometimes I wonder, uh, life is something else. But I wonder, before I met the Lord, before the Lord began to show me the way, because He had been trying to show me the way all my life, but seemed like it just didn't click until 1980. And I thank God that it did. Wow. Because who knows where I'd have been? Who knows? But I'm thankful. I'm really thankful. I thank Him. I thank God. And He is our judge. He's our judge. He's our judge and our jury. And He's going to be our final judge. No matter what other people say, do to us, He's going to be our final judge. And I think of what, before I met God, I'm so glad that my dad, man, was an unusual guy. And he loved his jazz, and he got me to love it. And I know at one time I had aspirations of wanting to be a musician, especially a jazz musician. And I even took what you call guess you say I went to a broadcasting school one time, and um, I did a promo there, I believe. I told them I wanted to be a jazz DJ. I wanted to be no weatherman. I wanted to be a jazz DJ. I don't know how long ago that was, but I really was really into jazz, and I heard the different types of jazz, the old timey jazz, Fats Waller and Misbehaving and things like that. And then I rose up into the other, I guess to say steps of jazz, the bebop things. But man, when I heard John Coltrane, I said, "Oh wow, where did this guy come from?" Because he had come out with that Caesar sound, and I said, "Man, that sounds good. That's just so riveting, you know." And then I noticed that all of the chaos that was going on in the 60s and the 50s, especially the 60s, because I wasn't that in tune to the 50s, I don't think that tough. But I was, because I was living down south in the 50s. And I came out of the South actually in 55 and came to New York, to Harlem, uh, to projects up on 8th Avenue, right, almost right next to the Polo Grounds. And it was a very, very beautiful experience. I remember being there a few weeks or a few months and running and being uh, in the way, you say, of Hurricane Carol. And we was on the 13th floor in this project, my auntie and my first cousins. And Hurricane Carol hit that building, boom, and shook it. Just shook it. And I said, "Oh my goodness, This wind, just always got to put the Creator in what I say, because he's everywhere. He's in the wind. He's in the storms. He's in everything. The Creator's in everything, baby. Kid yourself. But like I'm saying, I did say about the aspirations of being a musician, and I had me a C melody sax for a while, and they were outdated really then, and when I had one, and I was living in Spanish Harlem then, but I had the C melody sax. And boy, I was trying to play. And I guess the people say, well, you cut it out, making that noise. So I got me a trumpet. Same thing. Trumpets, I think, were harder to play than saxes, because you got to really have your armature. You got to have your armature. They had an armature, right, to play trumpet. Now, I don't think you had to have the armature as rigid as playing a saxophone. I don't think so, but I'm not going to say I'm no professional in saying this. But I noticed the music changed in the '60s, and the musicians got changed, and the avant-garde, man, and I was saying, music really reflects what time we're at. What music really reflects what time are we at now? That would seem like the avant-garde, the avant-garde, And I think the brothers were the ones, and the sisters were the ones that initiated it. And I can listen to it, but everybody say, hey, man, what you listen to, man? That ain't jazz. Because Coltrane could go off, and then all of his, I guess you say his disciples or his cohorts could go off. And man, it was just wild. It was wild. That music was wild, man. Andrew Hill and Monk. Oh, man, Monk. Well, Monk was avant-garde from the jump, because I heard his, what? Yep. Friday the 13th. And all of those things that he made, man. He was avant-garde from the jump. Monk had his thing. Miles, Some Kind of Blue. Whoa, boy. That's one of the greatest records made. They made the heck out of that record. Cannonball, This Here, That There with Bobby Timmons. Well, I don't think Cannonball really ever recorded That There with Bobby Timmons. I'm not sure, but I know he recorded This Here. This Here. Some of my favorite stuff. John Handy. Oh boy. Ray Bryant, another guy. I mean, music. I used to listen to Morris Feig. I used to listen to Stephanie Sid. I used to listen to Ed Beach. I used to listen to these guys play jazz all the time. And my dad, he did it. And I think by me getting hooked up with the jazz, I think I stayed out of a lot of the stuff that was going on with drugs. I mean, really drugging, But I always like to check it out. I say, this music is bad, man. This music is bad. But I really believe back in the '60s that the black musicians especially were making a statement back then about what the heck was going on with the black, brown, and beige people, sometimes darker than blue. I believe they were making a statement and a half, man. Mingus, Fables of Fathers. Don't forget Nina Simone with her bad self, man. She said, what? Mississippi, I don't like to say that word, but she said it. Mississippi GD, Freddie Hubbard, backlash, uh, all of that stuff, man. You know, but it was some contentious times back in the '60s. People marching, getting beat up side the head, dogs put on them, fire hoses, lynched, you know. And the music reflected that because we were hollering and screaming justice. The justice wasn't there. Now maybe we got to go back to playing avant-garde, like Archie Shepp and Albert Ayler and who else? Eric Dolphy. Do we have to do that again? Do we have to change the music around again? And show people that, hey, no, we ain't happy. Hell no, we ain't happy. What makes you think we happy? Because we're going through the same thing now. Because we're dealing with Forbes's kids, with Wallace's kids, with Patterson's kids, with all of these, I guess you would say, these ghosts of the past, Klansmen and White Citizens Council. And I don't know what kind of groups these people got. But we're dealing with it right now. But see, instead of them doing what they were doing back then, now they got themselves in positions of power, of political power. So do we have to go back to being avant-garde again? Do we have to go back to being avant-garde again, or is it going to be another thing? Because I don't believe it's going to be another Dr. King and a movement like that. I don't think so. Because I believe God is not going to do a redo of that. But it's going to be a different thing. Because God wants this people to know, these oppressors to know that we are his people. And he is our God. Now, if we don't believe that, but they know it. They know it. That's why they call us. They call us the peculiar people. We play peculiar music. We have peculiar ways of talking. We are peculiar people. God said his people would be peculiar. And not only that, but we're not only peculiar people, but we are a peculiar institution by way of what your document says. That's right. The Bill of Rights and the Constitution says that. The peculiar institution. And I think about that and I said, wow, man. And I look at myself and saying, man, I was a country boy, was in the cotton patch. You know, it had my granddad, my great granddad, tough man. I wish he'd have heard. I wish he could have heard here. Because I'd have had more conversations with him about the past or his past, but it wasn't great. But he was a man, a real man that I know. Because I seen him stand up to people. And that's great to have saw that. And I say thank you, Papa Charlie. Thank you, Auntie Hattie. Thank you, my mama, Georgia. And my mother, Georgia May. She had courage. And my grandmother, Noveda, my granddaddy had a lot of humor, but he had courage. He had courage. They brought us through this generation, and who's going to go to the next generation? I don't believe I'll be here for the next generation. I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm tired. I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm tired of seeing when things change, they remain the same. But freedom is coming. I mean, freedom, real freedom. Not just a touch of freedom, but freedom is coming. And ain't nobody going to stop it. Ain't nobody going to stop it. That's my avant-garde movement. I wish if I'd have had a horn, I'd have played something like that back then. I'd have played it. I could have heard it. I could have heard it with the piano, bass drums, and horns. I could hear it. I could hear it.